Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, the government is confident that around 35 million essential workers will receive their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine by September. But some cities report lack of vaccine supply. Marikina Mayor Marcy Teodoro joins us live. Also, the World Bank sees slower recovery for the Philippine economy, and a look at the Bangko Sentral's new facility in Tarlac. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Ben Diokno tells us more live. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Ben Diokno. Governor Diokno, welcome to the source. It's good to see you again.
Good morning. Good to see you again, Vicky.
Let's start with this. Help us understand the situation. The World Bank said, the World Bank slashed the GDP growth forecast from 5.5% to 4.7%. Is this something that you share, this kind of projection?
Well, the national government's projection, we adjusted it, is now 6 to 7%. I think it's early in the game or in the year to give up on our target of 6 to 7%. Maybe the World Bank was looking at maybe the slow pace of vaccination maybe a few months ago, but as you know, the vaccination program has been ramped up. We are getting a lot of supplies, and pretty soon, I think the new target, which is around 50 million by September, October, will be realized. So let's see.
So basically, you're saying this number, obviously, the 6 to 7% growth target can change depending on the vaccination pace in the country?
Yeah, that's right, Pinky. I think the key really is the pace of vaccination. The sooner we complete the 50 million, the better for the economy, because it will give confidence on the consumers. In turn,
right,
that will increase economic activity, and the business sector will invest more. So it's really consumer confidence at this time. That's the name of the game.
Governor, when you say 50 million, are you talking about 50 million Filipinos being vaccinated on their first or second dose?
It doesn't matter. I think the target is 50 million by around September or October. That's the target of the government. So at the rate we're going, I think that is doable. That's doable. I think it's the supply of the vaccine that is the major constraint. I think the government is ready. Plus, of course, the private sector also is ready. There's a group. There's a shipment for the private sector that's coming on top of what has already been committed to the national government.
What else, aside from the vaccination pace, are you seeing that is needed or needs to be contributed so that the situation can improve, or we stick to the 6 to 7% growth rate?
I think we've been doing already. The build is on stream. I think in a few days or a few weeks, you'll see some of the major projects of the government being completed. There's a bridge going from the Bonifacio property to Pasig. That's one. There are major highways being opened, contributed by Ramon An, for example. So these major projects, not only in Metro Manila, but nationwide, are being completed. So as long as we continue to focus on the build program, we continue to vaccinate, I think we're all set. In fact, the way we see it is that we were on a trajectory of 6 to 7% before the pandemic. It just got affected by this this pandemic. So as long as we continue to focus on our program, I think we'll be able to pick up around, as I said, 6% is doable this year. And next year, we are hoping to grow by around 7 to 9%. And then after that, we will be going back to our long-term trajectory of 6 to 7%.
I want to just zero in on the vulnerable sector, and I'm talking about the poorer or the poorer Filipinos. If in the event, well, just two things, just practical questions. How should government address the problem besetting, of course, all of us, but more so the more vulnerable sector? And number two, what needs to be improved? Kailangan ho ba, for example, the Bayanihan 3, is that important? Is it imperative that that be passed?
My thinking on Bayanihan 3 is that there's still a lot of money floating around for Bayanihan 2. And we are already on the verge of preparing the 2022 budget. Today's 2021. We are, say, about 2 months away from the preparation of the 2022 budget. So I think it's not the Bayanihan 3 that is at stake. It's really spending what has already been appropriated.
Which, if we talk about Bayanihan 2, Governor, the House already passed that for an extension until the end of the year, to which the Senate will have to act on this. I guess I wanted to ask you that because one of
is a 2,000 peso ayuda for every single Filipino, rich or poor. Would that in any way contribute to spurring the economy or helping the growth of the country?
I can't hear you, Pinky.
Governor, I was just asked.
It is incorporated that 2,000
pesos will be given to every single Filipino, whether rich or poor. Your thoughts on that? How important do you think that is for the Filipinos, and of course its effect to the economy?
Well, as you know, as I usually say, initial conditions are very important. As you know, the 30 administration has dual goals. Number one is to grow the economy at around 6, reduce poverty from a low 20s to 14% by 2022. We were almost there in 2018. Now, of course, as a result of the pandemic, that target reduction of poverty to 14% will be affected. But I listened to Carl Chuan, and I think the 14% poverty reduction is still doable because the government in the Bayanihan 1 and Bayanihan 2 continued to provide assistance to the poor. And so we just have to make the distribution more efficient. But of course, we also have to focus on the small, micro, and this MSMEs, micro, small, and medium enterprises, because they account for about 2/3 of jobs in the country. So that's very important. And so we just
70%.
focus on doing that. As I said earlier, the build program, because when you build, you open up opportunities not only in Metro Manila but also in the countryside. That will increase employment too. And so that should be, we should not give up on that. And then, of course, Congress also participated by approving the CREATE bill, which in fact reduced real property, CIT, corporate income tax, and the rationalized incentives. That would attract more investors in the Philippines. And so all of this will create lots of opportunities, lots of jobs for the country.
And just to follow up on that, your quick thoughts on the economic cha-cha passed at the House of Representatives. Would that help?
Well, to me, the cha-cha is not as important as opening up the economy. If Congress can do what has to be done to open up the economy, to increase investment, that would have a better contribution than the cha-cha. Of course,
I see.
There are many restrictive provisions in the Constitution, and if that can be liberalized, let's say education, media, ownership of corporations, that will be a big help for the Philippines.
We need to take a very short break. The Source will be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today, BSP Governor Ben Diokno. Governor, the new facility, tell us more about this, the plan to build this new complex at the new Clark City. I know that there's already a lease agreement with the BCDA. What's next, and why the need to build this?
Well, there are two reasons. First, this is part of our contingency planning. In the event of a big one, a major earthquake or a big flood in Metro Manila, then you need an alternative site. We require our supervised financial institutions to have such contingency planning. So we walk the talk. So that's number one. Number two is because we want to contribute to the desire of the national government to decongest Metro Manila and establish a government administrative center right in Clark. So those are the two major reasons why we're constructing a new BSP facility. But we want the new facility to be environment friendly. We want it to be sustainable, and we want it to be green. As you know, compared to the old building in Ross Boulevard, it's a massive structure, all cement, very few windows. So that's no longer relevant. To me, that's no longer relevant to our days, especially with the pandemic.
But what's going to happen to the old building along Rojas Boulevard?
Well, that will still remain there. We have a printing plant in Quezon City. So the old building in Ross Boulevard, that will stay. The printing plant in Quezon City, in front of or very close to the Philippine Heart Center, Social Security building, we are thinking about it. I have formed a technical working group. We can keep it, we can sell it, or we can have a joint project with the private sector.
When will this begin, Governor, and what is the cost?
We have actually launched, as you know, a design contest. So we start with that, and I think that will end. The design contest will be completed in 3 months, and from there on, we'll hire a contractor or a number of contractors. So we expect the formal launch of the construction by second quarter of next year. So the design contest will probably end sometime in October.
So basically, it should begin right after the elections.
That's
Somewhere
okay
around
because
there.
we're independent from the national government. Okay, so that doesn't matter whether it's election or
no, I know. I was just thinking that a significant event next year will be the May 2022 elections, and when you said second quarter of next year, that would happen sometime about June. Correct. Of next year. So I wanted to ask you about the design contest you have. Could you just tell us more about this briefly, Governor, if you would?
Yeah, it's we are opening up this to not only local but also international companies. So the conceptual design has to be, as I said, environmentally sustainable. It has to be green, and should promote the use of resources such as energy, water, and materials, which are, as I said, sustainable. This will be a two-stage process. The first stage will be shortlisting, and then the second stage will be a submission of technical and financial proposals and the conceptual design.
Just as an added information, how old rather, is the BSP building along Rojas Boulevard?
I think it's close to 50 years. That's my guess, right? Yeah, it's now a heritage building, so we can't do anything about it.
But I have to say, it is beautiful inside still.
And of course, we've maintained it very well. But as you can see, I think you've seen it. It's a massive structure, all cement, and very few windows, and that's no longer relevant to today's situation, right? We are talking of climate change and sustainable. So we want to see more glass, probably lighter structure, and of course the flow of air should be more efficient given the pandemic. And so because the building, the air conditioning is centralized,
Yeah. It's quite cold inside there. Okay, BSP Governor Ben Diokno, sir, thank you so much for your time, and it's good to see and talk to you again.
Thanks for having me.
And coming up, the government's vaccination program for essential workers. Marikina Mayor Marcy Teodoro joins us live. Break. Stay with us.